This video will be episode 4 of the Black Lion Origins campaign. In the last episode, we got in a fight with a warband of 15 looters, and it shouldn't have been difficult for my warband of 23 to handle, but I ran out ahead of all of my troops and ate a bunch of stones for my trouble. And as you can see, my health bar is still very low. So what we're doing while we're waiting for my health to regenerate is we're running around to the towns and villages that have pigs for sale, and we're picking them up to butcher and make a profit. That way we're not wasting time sitting in a town just regenerating health. Now, it's not always a waste of time to sit in town to regenerate your health, because sometimes you don't have a warband around you to protect you if you were to get into a scrape in between towns and villages. So it's a perfectly reasonable thing to do on occasion, but for me at this moment, it's much better to be making profits rather than losing money from troop wages every day, which my troop wages are not very high. Most of my troops are peasants, but yeah, it adds up. You can see we don't have a ton of gold right now, but we're doing okay. It looked like we didn't have a ton of gold, but really we were just in between purchasing and butchering. Ooh. So we're always going to take advantage of the tournaments, and we've got a Vadar Hot Blood for the prize of this tournament, and I'm quickly taken out by Morcon. Single crossbow bolt took me out of the running. It's okay though. There will be other hot bloods to win. Worth noting is the fact that the only way you can get a Vadar Hot Blood is winning tournament, or there is a perk that you can get in your riding, or maybe it's your scouting. I think it's your scouting skill tree that that makes it so that you have a chance to get a random horse when you're traveling on steppes and plains. I don't pick up that perk though, so really I've got to win a tournament in order to get my favorite horse. So I'm using a bit of strategy here in the tournament. I went and engaged with the melee, and they both focused on me. So I promptly dragged them back to my archers to help me beat them down. That way we could outnumber them. That's the best way to win a fight early in the early game when you don't have any athletic skill or weapon skill, is to just outnumber your opponents. And so that's what I'm trying. Well, what I'm trying to do here, I put my axe away because whatever you're carrying in your hands will affect your movement speed. And if you don't have anything in your hands, you'll move much faster, which I desperately need because I don't have any athletic skill to speak of. I do all my combat on horseback, which it's about time that I start to build some athletic skill, because I need to get it up. I think it's 200 you need to get it to in order to have access to the extra attribute points that you can gain through the athletic skill tree. It's a very long shot that I ever win a fight against a Battanian noble with a two-handed weapon at this point in the game. So what we're doing right now is we're taking a walk around the Pencanic town square, and I want to try and scout out and see if I can find a gang alley that I like the look of. And by like the looks of, I mean doesn't have very many bandits defending it. um, it's a good thing to do at this point in the game to get a gang alley under your control so that you can be creating some passive income. But I didn't have a weapon in my civilian loadout, so I had to exit out and regain my bearings, try and attack that gang alley and take control of it. And thank goodness for the magic of editing, so I can speed up running around town up to 4 times so that it doesn't take all your live long life to watch me try and take a gang alley. I need to maybe change the colors of my clan. They're so drab, they blend right in with the bandits. And I spent most of that engagement just beating on my own guys, doing 0 damage. But thankfully, they carried the day. They were bound to have to carry the day anyway because I've still got less than half my health. But look at this. We've got all of these bandits, and I'm running around at a movement speed of 2.1. we dropped off half of our warband to be the thugs in that gang alley, and it made it so we had insane hurting penalties because of we didn't have as many people in our warband, and we were able to get our 25th medicine level perk, which is fantastic. That's the perk that makes it so that every time you win in a battle, you get 30% of your missing health back at the end, which is huge. It makes it so that you're able to stay viable like after every fight, and you can actually heal yourself up if you're able to be careful. You can actually heal yourself up in combat. Now that perk doesn't apply in tournament fights, and it doesn't apply in fights that occur in villages. So it's something to be aware of. You're gonna want to avoid fighting in villages if you're in need of being able to take advantage of that perk. So in this sort of fight where it's 2v2 v2 v2, or maybe I said v2 one too many times, I like to try and stick with my teammate, and so what I'm trying to do here is cover him so that he doesn't eat shots from that archer. But I got away from him and wasn't able to cover him. But we are slowly but surely getting a little bit of athletic skill, and that'll help a whole lot in the our arena fights. And we're just swimming in bandits up here, which is fantastic. We've got a little bandit hideout. A little tip: I never do bandit hideouts. Like wait for the encounter at night, because that bandit hideout will continue to spawn bandits for you to fight if you don't clear it. But if you clear it, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. You'll have less bandits to fight. I'm trying to be a little bit more mindful, a little conscientious, and not run out ahead of. Because if I had have crested that little ridge there, then all of those archers could shoot at me, and they wouldn't even be able to see my troops, and so I would be suffering their full wrath, which I don't want to do. I want to stay viable. It's no fun to have low health bar, and it's a whole lot less fun to be running around from town to town killing pigs. I'd rather be killing bandits. We're looking at soon, I'm sure, changing our career path from butcher of pigs to butcher of bandits. I'm going to be bounty hunters, essentially. And I say bounty hunter, but I don't ever actually take prisoners for the purpose of of turning them in for profit, because the profits are so meager, and they affect your movement speed, your warband movement speed on the map so drastically that it's hardly worth it. Those doggone forest bandits have marched up on my troops, and they they felled both Sassel and Butch. And I suppose I could be grateful that it was my two companions that went down, because they're so much less likely to die when they're felled in combat. But also, if they actually die, then it costs me a whole lot more to replace them. So we're gonna max out our athletics focus points, because, like I said earlier, that's the next skill that we're gonna want to try and cap out. Well, not cap out, but once we get it to the point where we can get our endurance, an extra endurance attribute point, then we can start to focus on our blacksmithing. With 9 attribute points in endurance and 3 focus points in blacksmithing, we'll be able to get our blacksmithing skill up to 225, which is what you need in order to get your last endurance point. So at that point, then I will have had an extra vigor from athletics and blacksmithing, and then 2 extra endurance from athletics and blacksmithing, and that'll put my attribute points at max of 10 for both of those stats, which is awesome. I highly recommend maxing out your combat stats and doing it first and as quick as possible, because the more proficient you are in combat, the more EXP you're going to get, the more damage you're going to do. We lost 2 of our Vlandian peasants, the last 2 of our Vlandian peasants. The rest are manning my gang alley in Pencanic, but it's kind of a bummer to lose them. I do very much like Vlandian peasants. They turn into Vlandian recruits, which can turn into crossbowmen, which are some of my favorite troops in the game. So we've got some. Ooh, I'm glad that I caught that, because we could have really been in trouble there if I had like just stormed ahead and taken on or chased those that enemy warband there, because there was if we had to fight all of those different parties of what do they call it? They're like mountain men or something like that, mountain bandits. If we'd have been fighting them on top of the forest bandits, we'd have been in real trouble, because yeah, especially if there were cavalry involved, that gets pretty hairy pretty quick. The what are they called? The javelin throwing cavalry can really do a number on your archers, because they've got a shield to cover the archer fire, and it really only takes 1 javelin, well-placed javelin, to finish off one of your troops or you. So yeah, really glad we didn't have to fight that potentially nightmarish battle, and instead we just got to ride on our merry-go-round of death with these 9 forest bandits. So much preferable, and I am loving all of these bandits in the area. It's a big deal, because in order to finish that quest and free my siblings, all I need to do at this point really is increase my clan rank to rank 1, and the way you do that is through combat. I mean, if you were awesome, and some people are, you could get your renown in the tournaments, but I am not one such person. So we'll just do it by changing career paths and hunting bandits. Particularly forest bandits. I like fighting them. A lot of people will shy away from forest bandits, but I think that if you handle them correctly, they're really great loot, and they make really great prisoners because I like to convert them to be in my warband. Anyway, this has been episode 4 of the Black Lions Origin campaign. I hope you have a great rest of your day.